Hello everyone and welcome to this Better Chess Fast video. And I'm sure all of you would like to improve your chess more quickly. I know sometimes it seems to take forever to make progress, especially if you're not sure the best way to go about improving your chess. Well, the quickest way, or one of the quickest ways, is probably to just study tactics. But how do you do that? Well, a good way is to drill tactical problems over and over. So you find a set of problems and you just solve them, uh, whether it's 20, 40, 50, 100, 200 problems. You start at the beginning and go through them slowly at first, and then the next time you go through them faster and faster. And ideally, you'd want to go through the problem 7 times and solve them more quickly each time until the final 7th turn. They will be almost memorized, where you can just go through them problems quickly and they'll kind of be burnt into your long-term memory. All right, so I'm going to try and start this new series where I'll give you a set of tactical problems, and instead of a lot of explanation and talking like I'm doing now, I'll try and just throw up the 20 problems onto the screen quickly and then the answer. And so let's begin here. All right, let's see. Problem number 1. All right, and the answer is, and pause at any time if you need more time here. A pin to the knight, winning the knight. All right, on to the next problem. Problem number 2. And these will all be white to move, these problems. All right, the answer, hopefully you found this, a mate in 1 here. All right, problem number 3. And the answer, knight to d4, forking the king and the bishop, winning the bishop. All right, we'll move on to problem number 4. And the answer, hopefully you found, rook to d8, check, rook blocks, and then capture with mate, a back rank checkmate. All right, on to problem number 5. And the answer, bishop either to b5, pinning the queen and checking with the discovered check at the same time, or you could have played bishop to g4. Both of these win the queen with the discovered attack. Well, although here the queen could block, but in both instances the queen will be lost here. All right, on to problem number 6. And the answer is rook to h8, mating with the protection of this bishop here. All right, problem number 7. And the answer, remember these are all white to move, that way I don't have to switch the board around too much. c5, trapping the bishop here. All right, problem number 8. And the answer is e5, forking the bishop and the knight here, and winning a piece. All right, problem number 9. And the answer is rook capturing the knight, and this pawn cannot take the rook. Well, the pawn could, but then that would reveal an attack by the other rook, where it would be able to capture this unprotected rook on e8. All right, moving on to problem number 10. All right, and the answer is, well, before I give you the answer, here we have a threat of mate on g2, so white must act immediately. Also, white is just very far behind in material, so to save the game, queen captures with check. The queen cannot be captured because of the pin by the bishop, and the king is forced to move. But then we have capture and a perpetual check here. The king will just move back and forth. All right, problem number 11. All right, and the answer is bishop to d4 here, skewering the rook here through the king. So the king and rook are skewered by the bishop. The king must move out of the way, and then the rook will be captured. All right, problem number 12. All right, and the answer is rook to h8, forcing the king to capture, queen to h1 check, forcing the king to move, and then queen to h7 mate. And now problem number 13. All right, and the answer is rook to c6, forking the king and the bishop here. So the king will have to move and the rook will capture the bishop. Moving on to problem number 14. All right, the answer is, here you must be careful. You should promote the pawn, but if you promote the pawn to a queen, then black will mate with the bishop and queen battery on g2. So you must promote to a knight, forking the king and queen. and then the king will have to move, and then you can capture the queen here and avoid this mating threat. All right, on to problem number 15. All right, and the answer is one of two options here, to capture with the queen or the rook, but either one will force this rook to recapture, and then the other piece can move in with a back rank mate here. All right, problem 16. All right, with white to move here, it's kind of tricky as black is threatening a back rank mate here with the capture of this rook. So white will move his rook here, forcing black to respond because the queen is cutting off this escape square. So the only option is to capture, and then the queen can capture here and guard the back rank and not allow this rook to mate here. All right, problem 17. All right, and the answer is here, white is kind of in trouble, and so he must act immediately. We have knight captures on f7 with check, forcing the king over, but now you have a double discovered check by both the queen and the knight. If the king moves here to f8, then it's an immediate mate by the queen. So the king would be forced back into the corner, and this would allow queen to g8, forcing the rook to capture and allowing the knight to mate with a smothered mate here. All right, problem number 18. Okay, and the answer here, it revolves around basically making sure that you don't immediately promote this pawn because that would lead to an immediate stalemate. If you promote the pawn to a queen or a rook, there would be a stalemate. So you must either push this pawn forward and force the king to move up here to the only square available and then promote, or put your king in between and then the king would have to move up and then you can promote, but quicker is just to push the pawn. The only move available is this, and then queen with check, the king would have to move and then mate. All right, on to problem 19. All right, and the answer is, this one is a little tricky, but hopefully you found bishop to a5 here. And if I go back real quick, I'll turn on the lines for this one. So bishop to a5, and the best move is to capture, but then this allows b6, capture, a7, and then white will promote a queen here and be winning. So hopefully you found that one. It was a little trickier. And the final problem today, problem number 20. All right, and the answer is, and I'll turn on the line for this one. Um, there's a mate in 4 by moving the rook here to g7, but the best move is this, rook to h8. So you're threatening a mate by capturing on h7, but the queen is guarding. But now if the queen captures the rook, well, then this pawn can push forward. Right now, the queen is pinning the pawn. So those are the options. If we have capture, we'll then mate here. If it goes the other way, let's see, the only way to slow things down would be this, capture, but now what? Whatever he moves, the rook will swoop in here with mate. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed these 20 chess tactics problems, and I would encourage you to go through and try and do the 20 problems again. Just restart the video and go through them. And then, the optimal amount of times is at least 7 times to just go through and solve the problems. Now, usually a high volume of problems is what you want when you do this. So, a few hundred problems. I just did 20 just to give you an idea. Perhaps I will just make more of these videos, and then you can do 20 and then do the next 20 and the next 20, and maybe you can do 100 and then go back to the first video and do those 20, then the next 20. But I'm hoping to give everyone a set of problems that they can go through again and again. And I started with mostly easy stuff and beginner stuff, but the ideal thing is to mix it up, have easy problems and then harder ones, and just mix them all together, because in a normal game you don't know what kind of tactics you'll see. And also you can set this up yourself, compile tactics that you see in your games, different positions that you want to remember, especially if it's a mistake that you made and you don't want to repeat it again. Then you can put those positions on your phone, take a screenshot or a picture, whatever you decide to do, so you can keep looking at those positions and try and burn it into your memory. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this first video in this Better Chess Fast series. So I'll try to put out another set of 20 problems, and if these videos are successful, I'll compile a big group of these. That way you'll have more than just 20 problems to drill over and over. But remember, the fastest way to improve your chess is just getting better at tactics. That way you can see the tactics better in your games. You can defend against tactics, attack better with tactics, because most games are lost by some tactical oversight, some mistake with tactics. And really at beginner level all the way up to, even the professionals make mistakes with tactics, just not as much as us normal people. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this tactical set of problems. Please feel free to leave comments or suggestions, requests for other videos or whatever you want to see, and I'll try and work on that. And if you haven't already liked and subscribed, feel free to do that if you feel like it. All right, everybody, thank you and have a great day.